Hi guys, we're doing coffee naps and its effects. My name's Garrett Whiteck Ward.
My name is Hui Tron.
I'm Becca Wright.
And I'm Lillian Zima.
And now first we're going to cover our coffee nap media article. And this is a media article out of the Washington Post. First-hand experience from the writer, the author themselves. In the article in the Washington Post, the writer gave her perspective on trying a coffee nap. The writer explains how napping on its own decreases a chemical called adenosine, excuse me if I totally butchered that, which slows down your brain to make you sleepy. But when a nap is accompanied with caffeine just prior, the writer claims that you can effectively kick the bulk of your slowdown, the bulk of the chemical slowdown. Next slide. And then her logic and kind of the results of her experience. The author claims how the caffeine travels through one's intestines and then is released into one's bloodstream, where it then travels to the brain. Per the article, it takes about 20 minutes for one to see the full effects. This is kind of like her personal experience with caffeine. And then the writer goes on to explain how after her cortado or her caffeine of choice and sleeping around the 20-minute window, she woke up refreshed and ready to go, feeling like she'd rested for much longer than that 20-minute nap. And then kind of like the fact-based and hypothesis-driven knowledge behind it. So comparing the media article to a journal article that we found, the Washington Post writer stated that she felt a boost and refreshed, just previously stated. And this is verified by the National Library of Medicine, also claiming that this is true in a study they conducted involving 24 males. In the study, they found that the results indicated that a combination of a prophylactic nap and caffeine was more effective in maintaining alertness and performance than just a single nap alone. On the other hand, in the study, 12 other males were given a placebo effect, and those other participants were documented by having worse effects. And then lastly, the Washington Post writer also stated that this feeling that she had due to the caffeine blocking a chemical that causes you to feel sleepy, she documented that in her article, and there's scientific findings behind this that normal naps clear one's brain of adenosine, the chemical that makes you tired, and then this leads there to being less adenosine receptors active. So when accompanied by caffeine, according to this journal article, one will experience greater levels of energy.
So this study is from Hiroshima University in Japan, and it is a study on how to nap better and to beat midday nap sleepiness. So after the study, they found out that the best napping method was 20 milligrams of caffeine followed by a 20-minute nap. And in this sample size, there was 10 healthy adults, but 8 of the adults were women, 2 of them were men. And the conditions being tested were just a 20-minute nap, then a 20-minute nap followed with caffeine, a 20-minute nap and a bright light 1 minute after their nap, and then 20-minute nap with face wash, 20-minute nap, and they were only resting, not sleeping. So they were testing all of those. There were 3 variables that they were testing. And in the Washington Post article, the writer did say that the caffeine takes about 20 minutes to kick in. And in this study, they found out that 20 minutes is actually the perfect amount of time for one to nap before they experience sleep inertia, which is kind of like a fatigue and drowsiness you get after you nap. If you nap for like even 10 minutes longer, 3 minutes longer, you might feel that. So both of the articles recommend that you have the same amount of caffeine, about 200 milligrams of coffee, which is about 2 cups of coffee. And because of this research study, the Washington Post article would not be considered pseudoscience because that it was proved in this study. Yeah.
So on this slide, I'm going to talk about 2 related research. from Oxford Academic and National Library of Medicine. So the goal of Oxford Academic was to evaluate the effects of napping, caffeine, and napping plus caffeine on performance. There were 58 healthy individuals, and the study was an evening nap before the first two. For night shift plus placebo was taken all 4 nights. Caffeine was taken nightly. The combination of nap and caffeine condition or placebo. The result of this study was napping plus caffeine improves the performance and sharpness of night shift workers. On the other hand, the National Library of Medicine's goal is to study a typical night of sleep and the morning test performance. There were 24 young adults, male, subject to return to bed from 16 p.m. to 20 p.m. before a 24-hour period of sleep loss. 12 subjects received caffeine 200 milligrams at 1:30 and 7:30. The study was conducted through a performance test, vigilance, sensitivity, and logical reasoning and correct responses. The result shows a combination of prophylactic nap and caffeine was more effective in maintaining natural alertness and performance than was in the rest alone. Also, participants were able to maintain vigilance and performance at very close to baseline levels throughout a 24-hour period without sleep. Next.
So in this study done at the Sleep Research Laboratory in Loughborough, at Loughborough University in the UK, they were looking at counteracting sleepiness in drivers. So they used 10 random sleepy subjects, and they had them drive in a simulator for an hour and then take 150 milligrams of caffeine in coffee. There was also a placebo given, and then take a 15-minute nap, and then drive for another hour in the simulator. And they found that caffeine and the nap significantly reduced driving impairments, subject sleepiness, and they also tested this with an EEG, which showed drowsiness, and it also helped that. Just some other factors is like blink rate was unaffected. They did find that like how deeply people slept varied for those naps, but no matter what, the caffeine did produce a consistent effect. Taking a break did not prove to be effective at all. This study was done in 1996, so it would be interesting to repeat it, and perhaps with a bigger pool of participants. Though I do like that the sample size was random, and I think this also just is another great example of what the original article was pointing towards.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.